right. And Tamim?
I got involved back sort of within sort of my undergrad studies. For my sins, I studied physics, and one of my sort of modules I chose there was sort of quantum information theory. And in quantum information, you have a lot of something called Alices and Bobs, the sort of two characters around sort of cryptography. Found myself on some of the.
Do you think that crypto innovation should really be government regulated, or should it be left self-regulated? How would you consider the self-regulatory approach for cryptocurrency regulation generally in the African scene?
Interesting question and a brilliant one at that. When it comes to the emerging blockchain and cryptocurrency space, especially in Africa, I think that we need to understand the crypto markets before we begin to talk about what approaches are best for the markets. One of the things that I've noticed during my engagements so far in this industry is that, of course, the regulators, the statutory regulators now, the governments, they are keen about protecting investors and ensuring that the public interest is not compromised and all that. And they come up with all of the regulatory frameworks to ensure compliance and all of that. Now, the question is, can we or should the crypto industry be regulated by governments, or should it be self-regulated? So far, we've seen some interventions from the government trying to regulate cryptocurrency. We've also seen some self-regulatory approaches in Africa as well. We've seen some associations trying to regulate the industry themselves. But so far, there doesn't seem to be any clear-cut approaches. This is what I think. I think that the financial services industry is a dynamic, complex, and ever-changing one. When you have an ever-changing industry with such technology as the blockchain or cryptocurrency that keeps evolving, then you have to be sure that the regulatory approach has to be right. In Africa, we've got an emerging space. We've got a lot of adoption coming from the young people in Africa. We've seen a lot of transactions from Nigeria, from South Africa, from Kenya, and the government is wondering, how do we come into this space? Since 2016 or so, when this technology started getting deepened in Africa, we've noticed something. We've noticed that the regulators, from the banks to the Securities and Exchange Commission, would keep telling you that we do not understand this technology and we cannot regulate what we don't understand. Now, they say that they are researching and they're trying to acquire the necessary knowledge they would need to effectively and efficiently regulate the industry. But hey, guess what? While they're doing all that, a lot of stuff is going on in the space, good, bad, and the ugly. And so you wonder, how long is it going to take regulators to come in? It's been like 4 years in Africa where regulators are telling us they are coming in, they are learning the technology, but a lot has happened in 4 years. The scams are happening, the good investments are also happening, negative and positive. And so this points the answer to the question. The answer is we need a self-regulatory approach. This is the reason why. If it takes regulators so long to come into this space, it's because they need to necessarily understand it. Just like my fellow panelists were saying, we need the right knowledge for us to be able to regulate. And this takes time. You want to be sure that you're not coming in to stifle innovation. So you want to take some time. And so we can't blame our regulators for wasting so much time, but we should be able to self-regulate the industry, right? And what I'm looking at, what I think is this, in self-regulating the crypto industry, we need to look at the advantages of self-regulation. It has been tested and trusted across the world, from Taiwan to Japan to Indonesia India as well, self-regulation can work, all right? And this is why we need self-regulation. We need self-regulation because with the industry we are looking at it needs a flexible approach, not a rigid one. Statutory regulators are inherently rigid, and that is understandable because of the procedures that are involved, the procedures they must comply with. But how long can we wait for all that? I think that regulators, statutory regulators, in the banks and the securities and exchange markets can work together with industry players and set up a self-regulatory mechanism or approach so that we don't keep waiting and then we're hurting the system. The ecosystem is building up fast and it needs certain regulatory mechanisms. So I think I can tell you about 7 advantages of self-regulation, right? If we self-regulate the crypto industry, this is what the regulators will gain. They'll be able to leverage on the industry specialized knowledge, right? If our statutory regulators say that they need time to regulate, it's of course because the knowledge gap is wide. And so they need to cover that knowledge gap. So while waiting to cover all that, and wasting so much time, why don't you adopt a self-regulatory approach that will bring industry players involved in regulation so that the industry players become the frontiers of regulation, not sitting at the back door. One of the problems with leadership in Africa is that leaders like to be seen. They like to show power. And this is not what the 21st century needs because of the innovation we're running. You need to allow industry players take the lead, help you self-regulate what you don't understand. And then what you do as a regulator is then to set up what I call general standards of compliance and leave all those details, the technical details and all that to industry players because one, they've got industry specialized knowledge. Secondly, another advantage of self-regulation is industry representation. Industry representation. If you realize that if regulators jump into the field like elephants and lions with all of the regulatory frameworks, at the end of the day, who is going to comply? If the people you have targeted don't even understand what is coming in.
Thank
so
you
you
so
want
much.
to be sure. Yes.
Thank you so much, Senator.
Yes. So I'll just quickly want to add that there should be industry representation, and there should be some transparency and accountability in a self-regulatory mechanism, and of course there should be coordination and information sharing between the statutory regulator and the self-regulators.
Okay. Thank you so much, Senator. I just got word we have like just 5 more minutes to go on. So I'll just jump into a very, very crucial question. Looking at specific markets, for instance, Nigeria has been announced as one of the most active markets in cryptocurrency in Africa, and I'd like for Dr. Timi to take this next one. In the financial reports of the FinTech Roadmap Committee for the Nigerian capital markets in 2019, it was recommended that the SEC should determine the classifications of cryptocurrencies either as commodities or securities, but not necessarily as currency. So in shaping the future of crypto regulation, how does SEC classify, cryptocurrencies, including stable coins, and what are the possible implications we can see from this? Just 1 minute, sir.
Well, Emma, I guess you are very unfair. You're telling me to speak for 1 minute while the others have spoken for so long, just because you are afraid of regulation. But let me let you know, regulation will come, and it will come very hard. Because our primary responsibility as a part of government is to protect the investors. I heard the senator speaking a lot of English concerning the need for self-regulation. Self-regulation is an offshoot of government regulatory powers and the laws. The RSA, the Investment and Securities Act, specifically states and gives powers to the Securities and Exchange Commission to regulate every exchange every product in the capital market, and if possible, subject powers to SROs that we find, capable. So it's not just about desiring to regulate. Are they capable? Do they have the integrity? Do they have the strength? Do they have the resilience? When we talk about learning in regulation, we are not saying that the regulators are novices. No, not at all. I can bet my chest how many, so-called industrialists or industrial persons understand cryptocurrency or crypto market or whatever it takes, stable coin, initial coin offering, all of that, more than I do. We also read, we also have heads on our neck. So not regulating immediately does not mean that we don't understand the market. Regulation takes a long time. It takes some energy and it takes some preparation. And if preparation does not meet opportunity, you cannot have performance. So clearly for us, our business is to make sure that everything is done right. And I'm sure Senator Ihenyen knows that the SEC set up the Blockchain and Virtual Financial Asset Committee. Why is that the case? We did that because we wanted cooperation between the market and the regulators. Besides that, I'm also sure he's aware that we launched the FinTech roadmap, which is one of the reasons why we did that, is also to marry the industry and the regulator. We want divergent views. We want everybody to understand what we are doing, be on the same page. And people, a lot of people are hiding around the place, doing a lot of fraud. Like he said, if the self-regulators are regulating properly, why are there frauds? I had, a meeting with some set of people, the other day, and after our meeting, they got to know each other. They were happy that they were talking within the regulatory space, only for one of them to dupe the other. And, the other guy came running to me and said, I met this person in the meeting that we had in your office. Look at what she has done to me. And so that is why we're saying that regulation is important. We'll take our time to do it. We will not rush into it. But what's important clearly for us is to protect the investor and to make sure that the Nigerian name is kept as, as clean as it should be in whatever we do. And you have said it, Ima, Nigeria is one of the fastest growing cryptocurrency markets in the world. And that is because of the population we have, the youth, the millennials. And so for whatever it takes, the SEC and the regulators in this part of Africa will do the right thing so that we can move well.
Thank you so much. And our time is already far spent, and it's been actually an amazing session. We hope we can actually get to do this on another panel, in another place, through another channel, so that we can have even more time to speak on these issues. Thank you so much for joining. See you guys in the next panel.